Welcome folks, Kendall here with Renos for Pros and Joes, helping you simplify the renovation and remodeling process. Here we do hands-on product, tool, and gear reviews as well as renovation tip and strategy videos. So if you're interested in renovation, remodeling, repair, real estate, home improvement, or property maintenance, then this content is for you. So as promised, today we're going to be talking about the Dewalt DW089LG 360 degree line laser. Now I've had my unit for approximately 5 years, and I've used this on countless projects in various ways. As a renovation contractor, I purchased this for use with laying out some recessed lighting, and I've just expanded on the number of ways that I can use it numerous times over. So I want to first go through what's in the box, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the different ways that I've used it, and then I'm going to take you onto a project that is underway and just set the laser up in the room so that you can actually get a feel for how the 3 different lasers can be used. We're also going to splice in some other projects and things along the way where you can see some other ways that I've used it along the way as well. So the first thing that I mentioned is going to be recessed lights. This is like the cheat code to laying out recessed light, particularly with the development of the new wafer styled recessed lights that are able to be installed in a retrofit manner very easily with your ceiling and everything in place. It basically allows you to be able to put those lights in wherever you choose because of the very thin profile on them. This means that you can have a finished ceiling with no lights in it and then basically lay it out the way that you want it and then cut your holes, right? And so in order to do this and have everything exactly the way that you want it, there's a few different ways that you can do this. You can use a tape measure and things like that, but this laser makes it exponentially faster, especially when you begin to use the cross hairs where you can actually run a straight line in one direction, and then you can also run another straight line in another direction, all without moving the laser at all. It makes it very, very, very helpful when you're trying to get a project done. So let's go ahead and open the box up here, and we're going to continue to talk about some of the other ways that this unit can be used. Obviously, this is going to be a great tool when you're going to be doing things like framing. If you're laying out walls and you're trying to make sure that your walls are straight and they're going to be tying in with existing walls and things of that nature, this is going to be an invaluable tool for that. It's also going to be great for doing different types of plumbing work when you're trying to lay out if you're going to be cutting into a slab or you're going to be just running lines from one side of a property to another, and make sure that you've got everything straight and you're running the shortest distance. This can be invaluable for that as well. Now, another thing that people probably don't think about when they think about a tool like this, and a way that I have used it, is for painting, but I'm going to actually get into that with you here in 1 second. I've got the tool out now, and I just kind of want to show you some of the different features of the tool. So number one, this is what it looks like. We've got a laser here that spins this way. We've got the laser here that spins this way, and we've got a laser here that spins this way. And the entire unit will spin just like this, okay? So here on this back side of it, we have our 2 amp hour, 12 volt XR battery, and these batteries work very well for this unit. You can literally leave the unit on for hours and not have to worry about your power on the unit being an issue. So that's invaluable. The small battery works great. Another thing that you have here is you have magnets here on the back, which are going to work well when you're going to be attaching it to a magnetic surface that you're going to perhaps have it mounted to a wall or framing, where you can just stick this to this temporarily to be able to make all your marks and denotations. You also have a mount here that will allow you to attach it on drop ceiling framing and things like that. And you also have a charger here that comes in the box and some cool shades. Now, I've never had to use the shades. The laser is really, really bright and it's really, really easy to see. Now, before we jump into the job site where the work is in progress, I also want to talk to you about painting, because this is one of the ways that I've used this that is more unique and I hadn't seen anyone else do it. You can use this for, let's say that you're going to be doing some type of design where you're going to be painting one half of a wall one color and another half of it a different color, you can use this to set that line on the wall. That's going to be, you can do that horizontal or vertical. You can do the same thing with a ceiling. One of the unique ways that I've used it is in working in rooms in properties that have ceilings that have curved walls that transition into the ceiling. Because if you're going to be doing two different paint colors, that transition line needs to be very clear for you to be able to paint up to it and have it look very, very clean. And one of the things that I've used this for is actually using it to make my line, my transition from my ceiling to my walls, and make that line uniform all the way around so that I can mask up to it and then be able to paint down to it so that my lines are completely crisp and clean. So we've talked about framing, we've talked about plumbing, we have talked about painting. Another way that you can use this unit is also for doing tile work. If you're going to be doing a project, you're going to have your tile running around several different walls and you're going to be making sure that all the tiles at the same height, this type of unit is going to allow you to make 100% sure that your line is consistent all the way around the walls. If you're doing a alcove tub, if you're doing a shower surround, or even if you're doing an entire room, you can easily turn this laser on and work with it on and work up to it and make sure, even if you adjust it as you go, as you add additional rows, you can check your work as you go to make sure that you don't have any type of mishaps or mistakes in there that you don't realize until later on. This is going to keep you completely on top of that tile work. Now, let's jump into a room that is completely demoed and we're getting ready to put back, and I'm going to show you some of the different ways that this can be used. So let's jump over to it. Okay, so I'm in a bathroom that's currently under renovation. I've got our laser unit here and I've also got our mounting bolt. I'm going to go ahead and attach that here onto this plate, and then we're going to begin laying everything out. So we've got a tub here and we're going to be building out a niche here along this wall, and we've also got to locate our plumbing fixture for our filler valve for the tub. This is going to require some framing here, and also we're going to have to do some drilling and modifications in order to account for the space for the filler valve. So this will also give you an excellent opportunity to see in real application how a unit like this can be used to begin to lay out things like tile, as well as begin to set up your locations for your light fixtures and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and turn the unit on. If I turn here to the side, you can see that we now have 4 bars, which means we're fully powered. And let's do the first laser. Let's do the first laser here for our niche like I was talking about here. So we're going to lower it down a little bit. So you can see now that our tub is here, and I'm going to drop this down a little bit to the area where I believe we would probably want our niche to start. And so see, when you do that, you could make your mark here along your walls, and that line is transferred all the way around the space. Now I want to point out when we've got this set up is that, do you notice how the laser wraps around everything, all the framing, all the plumbing, and is actually visible on all walls here. So that's going to be important to note. You can see it even over here. You can see that laser line is there, making it very easy to make your marks. So you could go ahead and mark here, and we can raise and lower the laser to the level that we need it at. Another thing that we can do in a space like this, let's say that we've already done our ceiling and we're going to be installing our light fixture after the fact. We can then use a different laser. So let's turn this laser off, and now we're going to turn on a different laser this way. So let's say that we are trying to center our location of our light fixture here. So I'm going to frame this up, and I'm going to turn the other light off so that you can see a little bit better what this looks like. So when I turn this off, you can see that we've currently got the laser running straight through the room. It's a little bit difficult to see because we don't have the ceiling, but if I stand like this, you can see that it runs all the way down through the room, and that's going to allow us to look at that on both sides of the space. And if we want to, once we've got everything set up that way, we can also turn on another laser here. So you can see that there's a cross there on the floor, that being our center point. And now we can go ahead and scroll back up again, and you can see here in the ceiling what that looks like. Now, if you've got a finished ceiling, this is going to be a lot easier to lay out. But you can even see it's over here on the wall where that tub was. Now, another cool thing about having your room laid out with a laser like this and working with walls is that we can now use our tape measure in an application like this. If we wanted to make sure that something was spaced properly, we can just use our tape measure and measure from the line on our wall to make sure that everything is laid out the way that we need it. So you can still see that laser line right there. So if I want to make sure that this is centered on the room, let's just say I'm going to move my laser over here to try to make sure that I'm dead center on this tub. And if you look closely, you can see that the drain overflow here, it appears to be centered on that. So I can step over here with my tape measure, and I can actually measure up to this line here from this direction. And then I can also measure from the opposite wall in this direction in order to confirm that it's actually dead center. And that's going to help save you a lot of time and trouble and potential mistakes just by being able to use your tape measure in conjunction with your laser to be able to lay out whatever you're working on that particular project. Now, I'm sure that some of you just want to see what this laser looks like when we turn all three on at the same time, and I'm going to show you that now as well. Let's go ahead and hit those lights. So we've already got two on, and then we'll turn on the one that we turned off. And so this is what it looks like here in the space. Keeping in mind we don't have any walls or anything in here, but this is what it looks like. And so you can see our laser here running through the room. You can see it passing over, and you can see that we've kind of bumped it a little bit. Let's go ahead and just adjust it back. And see, now you can see that it's back to being centered on that cutout there for our overflow drain.